You ready? Welcome to Spin Sessions, the platform to have an open conversation, not just with the spinners, the superstars that they are, but as well as the spectators, the promoters, and the guys changing tires in the back, working hard in the sun. This is a conversation between us as a whole community, the landscape of this spinning movement, this culture that is not only exploded on the South African scene, but now is officially on the international scene. We got spinners traveling not just locally, but internationally, showcasing South African talented individuals at their best. This is Spin Sessions. This week on Spin Sessions, it's all about legends in the game, our forefathers, the people that came before us, and the ones that paved the way. This week, I get to share a conversation with the legendary king himself, otherwise known as King Gesh, and to friends and family, Magesh. And to me, meu amigo, Magesh Ndaba. What's it, Magesh?
I'm good, and how are you, Vito?
I'm good, homie.
Thank you, my brother.
I know you for a long time, so I got all this squishy-ishy stuff on you.
Is it? No, let's go.
First of all, I just want to say it again. Magesh didn't have muscles when I met him. He was just a skinny kid. I was also a little skinnier when I met you, but we were skinny kids. And Magesh was already spinning, and he was already a high-profile kind of guy. And we used to get together on a Wednesday night. We had a place called West Bank Raceway, and Magesh was literally the halftime show, and boy, did he deliver. Magesh, do you remember the good times on a Wednesday night at West Bank Raceway?
Thank you for having me once again. How can I forget, my brother? Those were the good old days, eh? Yes. Take us back, man.
Let's talk about stunts and how the stunt game has evolved, right? Now, Oaks are like Sam was jumping out of a moving donut car through the two spinning wheels, out in, misses the diff, misses the stunt game has evolved, right? But I remember, Magesh, when you would just jump out the car and stand on the roof or on the bonnet, and how the people used to go absolutely mad.
I remember vividly. It's like it was just yesterday. I remember when I pulled up for the first time at West Bank Raceway with Sean Singh from Chuntech, when he introduced me to you. Remember, I was there to just test my car. But then, for some reason, you guys decided, since I was the only one with the box shape that day, so you guys decided for me to do some donuts. Then, when I went in, remember we used to spin just in front of where the guys used to warm the tires.
Just in front of the Christmas tree,
just in
like
front
60
of
foot.
Exactly. So when I went there, I told you that I was going to jump out. And you literally told everyone that everyone with their cell phone, just take your cell phones out. Something is about to happen. And I must say to this day, Vic, that moment changed my life for the better. Because remember, we were coming from the days of Sherwood. Sherwood was no longer there, so we had no place. So I went there to test my 2.9 motor. I was driving a 2.9 motor back then. So I just went there with Sean Singh present. Then I got an opportunity. Then that changed my life. I never looked back.
Yeah, Magesh, listen, you're one of the very first superstars, and you're still relevant in spinning today. And I remember the halftime shows. You were phenomenal, man. We back then, there was Faya from Sarsad and Marlon and so many. Jeff James was in the mix, and we literally changed the face of spinning at that time. We were now introducing spinning to a whole different audience that had never seen spinning. You know, a lot of people were going there to like watch, you know, the street style racing, and now we're having this amazing halftime show that just blew up the scene. In saying that, Magesh was also the very first spinner to get commercial recognition as well as a sponsorship. Magesh, we're taking it back a couple of years. You were sponsored by Yokohama, and that was done through the management of Jan Johnson at the time. She was managing you. How did it feel for you to be a spinner in that time, getting a corporate sponsorship like that?
Well, the feeling was right because it was new to me, but it came with a lot of hate from the fellow spinners. I have to be honest, I have to say it. Because me, wearing Yokohama stickers, West Bank stickers, that didn't sit down with our fellow spinners back then.
But why?
Maybe they felt that they should be wearing those stickers. Because I saw it as an opportunity to give spinning a second chance, if I may to say. Because me being sponsored, which means then I will be able to call in other guys, of which you guys asked me if I do have other spinners. I then brought in the likes of Terminator to come and spin there, the likes of all the guys from the East, the Simbas, your Jeff James, as you were saying. I remember Jeff James was sponsored by Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it was supposed to be a nice thing. But even Jeff James himself can tell you, by him wearing those stickers, it gave problem to the other guys. So, but other than that, it was just a nice feeling because it was happening for the first time in our life. We never expected that to happen because we used to sprint for free. All that we do, we did for free.
It's very important that people know that, because spinning by today's age is all about the payday, and it was never like that. You know, we spun for years and years for absolutely no money, and
True.
I find that spinning now has strictly become about the payday for the spinners. And don't get me wrong, there are bills to pay, cars cost money to maintain, traveling, you know, they are costs. But it's taken a different angle as opposed to what we were experiencing.
True. I think people are getting into spinning with different perspective or perception, if I may say, because they think that spinning, if you're a spinner, you get a lot of money. But you have to work your way up to be a renowned spinner, like I was back in my time. So for me to be crowned or to be sponsored back then, I worked for that during that time. So now, even now, the guys like Katras, your same, they've worked to be where they are. It didn't come cheap. It came with a lot of sweating, a lot of investing into the sport. Time, sweat, money, everything. Then you reap your reward. It's not the other way around. You can't get paid and then work later.
Do you feel there's still a lot of hostility amongst the spinning fraternity when someone does good? Like when someone's being exceptional? Do you feel it creates a target on their back?
Oh, yes. Yes. A lot. It's still happening. That's why we, as the elders of the game, that's what we are trying to change into the sport, because you cannot go into the sport just to beef. Yes, competition is there, but we must have a good competition. We are not here to fight one another. We are here to grow the sport in one unity. So now, if like Sam has won the Red Bull Championship Moto twice, he has had his fair chance of people calling him all sorts of names. but he still stood by his guns and stood by what he believed. So even he can tell you that it's not a nice feeling when people should be celebrating you, then they tend to be talking ill about you.
Try and tear you apart.
True. It's still there.
Sad. It's really sad though. Like it
is.
really bugs me when we should be helping to uplift someone's career or someone's brand or someone as in their person, and instead of creating a platform and lifting them up and clapping hands and giving their flowers where it's due, you're just trying to tear that apart. It's envy. That's what it is. It's jealousy that creates stuff like that.
Because if you can say it, if it's your time, if the sun is shining on Vic, let's celebrate Vic. It doesn't mean the sun won't shine on Magesh.
Sure.
When it's my turn, you must also clap for me. Not when it's my turn, then you become jealous. So it's what's happening in the spinning game. Because today is Vijaro, the next day is Sunesh, the other day is Faiki. And then we need to celebrate one another, because you must remember, Vic, we are not in this game at the same time. Yeah. My time was when I was at the peak of my game. It was during those West Bank days. Then now, today, Katra cannot just come here and call me out and say, Magesh, I want to compete with you. It's a whole lot of different game. You see, because now it's Katra's time. I had my fair chance. So we need to learn to celebrate one another as spinners.
Super important, valuable words, and people should take that in deeply. We need to celebrate each other as a nation, as well as a people, as well as spinners. You really do, because, by you applauding someone else, it will encourage someone to applaud for you one day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
I'm all about putting positivity out there and creating platforms and spaces for people to grow and nurture.
For sure, no doubt.
That's where I'm at. You've spun a few cars, but the one silver car has been your baby right through your career. You still own that car.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the very first E30 box shapes that I remember being retrofitted and engine swapped to the E36 M3 motor.
Correct.
Still got it?
Still has it.
Still running?
Still running.
Tell me, at the time when you did that E36 M3, it was almost unheard of, because E36 M3 was still quite prominent. It was still quite expensive and very hard to come by, and motors weren't readily available. How did that engine swap happen for you?
It happened in 2010, Vic. To be honest with you, my 2.9 started breaking a lot, and I was spending a lot of money trying to fix it. I then decided, you know what, let me just get a bigger engine, because I didn't want a smaller engine than my 2.9 back then. So I asked myself, what is the next big thing with power? I'm not a fan of a V8. I'm not a fan. I did the Lexus V8s were not popular back then.
Yeah, it wasn't even heard of putting V8 in an E30.
Yes. So I then went to Japan Auto. Then I found myself this E36 engine, of which I bought. It was an off-cut. So meaning I've got the wiring, a gearbox, a complete.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well so that's why I went for it. Then I fitted that engine. Then the rest is history.
How much power does that car make on the dyno?
That car made 222 kilowatts, about, I don't know, HP in terms of horsepower.
Sure, it's times like 1.6 or 1.3. Mm-hmm. That's big power.
Yeah, no, that was a monster. That engine made a name for me. That's why I decided to retire that car.
Yeah, no, listen, that was Magesh. Yeah, that silver car was crazy.
True. I still love my car to bits.
Magesh, tell us a little bit about your friendship with Lifa, otherwise known as Lencha, otherwise the man behind the World Cup of spinning in Maziza Stadium. You guys have become really close in the last couple of years. Tell me how that came about to be.
I first met Lifa Lencha. By the way, I call him Skomota, but he's going to kill me. We call each other names. So he calls me Shebe Shit. So I call him Skomota. So yeah, it's basically our characters. But I met him in Benoni. So I don't know if you can remember, there was a little corner there in Benoni on the R23 where we used to spin there. So before the rock raceway days. So he went there to spin. I was still under Yokohama or Max My Right, I can't remember. But then when he was spinning, his car started catching fire. Instead of him running to the car, and trying to take the players out. He just stood there and watched and laughed and raised his hands like this. I then jumped. I took the fire extinguisher, jumped, and then tried to extinguish the fire. And then that's how we got to know each other. Then then the rest is history.
These guys have been friends for a long time. You guys are really close, right?
Yeah, we are. We're also business partners as well.
Oh, yeah. That was the juicy stuff that was about to. Tell us a little bit about the BMW collection between the both of y'all.
Hey.
Yeah, we know there's a collection.
So he's the one who talked me into it, because I was never a fan of having so many cars. So he used to own a lot of Kusheshes, a lot of 325s. I'm like, why? Because that doesn't make sense to me. And then eventually he talked me in it. I ended up having more Kusheshes than him now.
Wow.
So he still has his fleet, but I've got plenty. But
so what do you mean when you say, what do you mean? What number is plenty, Magesh? Because 325 IS Kusheshes now, it's like an endowment plan. It's an investment.
Oh, Lifa has got 4. He's got 1 Kusheshe,
Wow.
and then he's got 3 325s. Then I've got 1 Kusheshe, I've got 2 Cabriolets, then I've got 9.
As car guys, we collect stuff.
As we collectors.
I still, I had a very clean E30 box shape, and COVID came and hit really hard. And Lifa picked up the phone. He's like, "Yo, here you got a nice clean two-door plastic bumper."
I remember that thing.
And I was like, "No, Lifa, stay away." It took me a long time to get this thing.
Yes.
And COVID came. I had just become a father, and Lifa took my car.
Yeah,
just
I
like
remember
that.
very well.
Good. We'll talk about those wheels at a later stage. Magesh, you've moved on to a different role as a person in the spinning community. We're going to talk a little bit about your role as being a judge at Red Bull Shire Moto. And quite recently, you've, acquired a big piece of land and put a lot of money into it and opened up your own showgrounds. Tell us a little bit about the showgrounds. Where did that start and how long has the journey been?
The journey started when West Bank closed down, because that really hit me. Because,
Jeez.
yes, I always, I was passionate about hosting Wednesday spin sessions. The little piece that you gave me there to spin with the guys. Then when that stopped, it really hit me, because now we had no any other option but to go back to the street. That's what we did. We went back to the street, but then streets were not for me anymore, because you remember I had sponsors, so now I was spinning responsibly.
Yeah.
So now the next best thing to do is what? I approached the Ziba from Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Then we colluded. Then we ended up hosting spinning events at Bahamas in Guatemala.
So let me tell you about Bahamas, Kwatemba. Land is not the correct word to describe that. It was a swimming pool, basically, that had been dug out.
Of which we dug that thing out, eh?
A swimming pool, guys. We're not talking a parking lot. I'm talking a swimming pool that had been dug out. It was a circle. And to Sundays also, if I remember, and literally you could only throw donuts. You couldn't even do a figure of 8 there. It was so tight.
Yeah, no, you have to be very, very skilled.
Yeah,
you
no, I
have
remember
to be
going to
very, very
Guatemala.
precision driver to throw a figure 8 there.
No, that was so tight.
And back then, Vic, that was the pitch.
Yeah, well, there was nothing else.
There was nothing else, meaning the guys from Soweto, Pubezi, Topia, Zakes, Malibongwe, Triple D, all the guys used to come there on Saturdays. Every Saturdays. Ask me how much was the entrance back in the day.
$20.
$10.
10 rand, wow.
The guys used to drive. Jeff used to drive from Soweto to come and earn 500 on that Saturday. Yeah,
Long
so
time ago.
it was the only place to spin. So, but then I had a passion of teaching people how to spin. I was very passionate about that, teaching people how to spin. So now, when that didn't work out as well, when the owner approached me, now his business was growing, he approached me and said, "You know what? I'm going to close this hole of the swimming pool, because you guys are no longer hosting events here, and I've got plans for this place." Then I told him, "You know what? Let me just host one big event. Then you can close it." That was in 2015. The last event I hosted there, that was in 2015, when I also introduced BGP to spinning.
Bahrain.
Yeah, so that's when. Then after that, it just went down. Yeah. Then I had to support other guys. Then that's where our friendship, as you were asking, me and Lifa grew because he had the Val Spin Fest. So instead of being irrelevant, I chose to be relevant by, you know what, supporting the brother.
Support someone else.
Exactly.
Which is good, man. That's the right way to do it.
Exactly.
Let's touch a little bit about Maziza Valspin Fest. For me, I call it the World Cup of spinning, and so do so many people in the scene, because it was the first spinning event that attracted that kind of numbers. It's he managed to secure himself an old athletics field that hadn't been used in many years, but it already had the seating.
Yes.
And that's super important when you're running events, is you want people to sit comfortably and be comfortable, because if they're comfortable, they stay for a long time.
Yes, true.
And Maziz is just super special because I've been there from day one. I remember when Dickie still organized the meeting with myself and Lifa, and I remember the first event in the square at the Friedrichen, old abandoned air runway.
Airstrip, yeah.
And
Muvango.
that's it. And from where it has grown now to the World Cup of Spinning, it's just massive. And it's such a unique location in Sebokeng that there's no other events really actively running there. So when Lifa puts that event together, man, the people of that community just come out in numbers and they just support the place, man.
True. You're so right, Vic. But it's still one of the best event to be hosted in spinning industry or spinning sport. People must understand that before Val Spin Fest, before it happens, we put a lot of effort in making that happen. We start as early. Val Spin Fest happens in August, every August, the first week of August. But we start as early as March to put in effort. You must remember, your job must happen. Everything must happen. And it's just a piece of land. There are no boundary walls. There's nothing there. So you have to get everything out of your own pocket. So he starts way early to promote the show. He goes all out. He makes sure that billboards, when you go to Val, everything is there. So promoting the show. So it's how much you put in. That's what you're going to get out.
Absolutely. I applaud Lifa. I think he throws down an epic show. Let's move over to your new spot, which is really not a spot because it's massive. Pretty much one of the bigger pitches I've been a part of. Tell us a little bit about that journey. Where did you acquire the land? How long did you acquire, and how long has it taken for you to get to where you are right now?
Oh, man.
That long?
Yeah, that long. I have to say, may Dickie's soul rest in peace.
Yes, my man, superstar.
We used to write proposal to municipality or Kuruleni municipality, trying to get, there's a pumping stadium where I'm staying, in Springs, pumping stadium. I was trying to get hold of that stadium. I spent years, Vic, trying to get a piece of land from municipality to no avail. So it took me back to where, you know what, let me just work, try and get a piece of land or on my own, something that I will call my own, so that when I exit this world, it's going to remain my own. So I then went into the auction. I then took out a bond and bought that piece of land.
Wow. What year? Do you know what year that was, plus minus?
That was 2018, just before COVID. That was 2018. Then I tried to pay that land off. I didn't want to do anything before
until it was yours.
Until it was mine. Because now I was scared. What if something is going to happen and then they'll come and repossess the land?
Yeah.
So I worked extra hard to pay that land off. After I've paid that land off, I then started with the mini construction or development of the land. Thanks to you with the help for the grandstand, my brother.
Oh, no.
Appreciate
it. For the
referral. Yeah, so then I never looked back because I started doing the tar there. But then, you know, when you try and do something in a hurry, you get knocked.
Yeah.
That's what happened with me.
Like clapping you.
Yes, so that's what happened. Then I lost a lot of money. I then went into depression, because here is something that I was thinking that is gonna bring me what I wanted, my vision, because spinning is my vision. I see something here. But then that happened.
That's
And
a
it was
given
my
knocking,
fellow
yeah.
brothers doing it, our own black brothers, not that I'm racist. It was our own fellow brothers doing that to me. But you know what, ne? When you are passionate about something, I picked up my pieces because there was no use for me to sit in the corner to cry because I had to cut my losses and then Ankhan again.
So let's talk a little bit about the ground. So you started out in tar, but now it's paved brick.
It's fully paved.
So me personally, ever since I went to Maropeng at Team Saluki's venue and I saw the way that Bubbles and his crew built that pitch, I always thought if I ever had to build my own pitch, it would be paved. Because I think it takes the beating a little bit better than tar. And tar is very expensive. And if the spinners are spinning on their rims, it digs up the tar quite easily. And then you got big, like, for the lack of a better word, potholes in the middle of the pitch.
Correct.
I think paving as a surface takes a lot more beating than tar. It also looks a lot more cleaner and professional when you're not running a spinning event.
Yes,
Let's say you're running a music concert or a church service, whatever. So I like the fact that you went with paving, but I want to ask why you went with paving.
I was scared to go the tar route again because of what has happened, because it was fully tarred. As you see it now with paving, it was fully tarred. But you know what happened? When the truck full of sand came in to blast, to drop in the sand.
It made the...
My guy. And the guys were gone. So I was like, so now when I called out that company to come and inspect what has happened, and then they told me that, you know what, the best bet for you is to go paving, because paving will never maintain it. You just do paving once and then that's it.
Clean, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I went with that option of putting the paving. And you know what? We've been running since the 15th of December. I don't regret it.
No, paving for me personally is a better route. I know this is a bit of a personal question. You don't have to give me like the rands and cents, but from a tarring and a paving point of view, which one worked out financially viable? In other words, more affordable for that space?
I'd say the paving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know they're still both very expensive.
Yes, yeah, but
this is
I'd
a
say
large
the paving,
area, but I was
yeah.
wondering, obviously you went through the exercise, which would work out.
Paving is
more
cheaper.
affordable.
I'd say in rent value plus minus 250K.
Cheaper,
Yeah,
more
cheaper,
affordable. That's big money, my man.
yeah.
That's grandstand money. You can put
True.
it up, build something else.
True. Hence, Vic, you're asking, that place it's not going to be one night thing that I'll wake up the next day fully grandstand. It's a work in progress.
It's a journey.
It's a journey because there are still a lot of things that I must do in that place to make it more accommodating for everyone that's going to be utilizing the place. So it's going to be a journey. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but I'm prepared because I'm passionate. I believe in this sport. I love this sport. Hence, I've called that place Kwamake.
Yeah, I like it. Tell us about your first big event that you have planned for 2024 on your own ground.
My first big event will be on the, I don't know the date, but we are having a spin session. It's somewhere around October. We don't have the date as yet, but now we're just having we're going to have a Sunday session on the 28th of April. It's the build up to the main event. So we'll be having the Sunday sessions then. Super
proud of you. I've known you for a long time. I'm proud of you. Well done.
Thank you, my brother.
Let's talk about the next generation of spinning in your family. Let's talk about Magesh Jr. Let's talk about your son, who's literally blowing up on the scene right now. Tell us a little bit about how that came to be.
My Prince, my son, was born into the game. If you can remember, I used to bring him when we were doing our racing, the total V8. You used to hold him.
Yeah.
He was young back then. So he was born into the sport. So even though I try, as a father, you think that after seeing what's happening in spinning, all the beefs, all the negativity, you don't want your son to be associated with such. So because we all want what's best for our kids. But then, God has his way. So when I saw him passionate about the sport, he's been my number one supporter. He's been there. So now when, I remember in 2015, when when they were asking him, what is it that you're going to do? He told the guy that was interviewing him that I'm going to spin like my father. And I just stood and watched like that. I'm like, oh, what is this one saying now? But now he has came out to be one of the upcoming good spinners. I'm proud of what I'm seeing him to do in the pitch. I'm happy and I'm supporting him throughout the way.
He's quite aggressive. I've seen him. Obviously, we had a little spin get together at your grounds. I think it was in December. It was just a whole bunch of friends. We just got together and we went and shredded some tires. And your son was obviously there. And he's quite aggressive. He's fearless. He's in the moment there. He drives hard.
Yeah, no, he's fearless because you know what? He doesn't have to worry about the engine. So he doesn't have to worry about the school fees. He doesn't have to worry about the bread.
It's different when you got a father who's there to assist you.
So he doesn't calculate. So he just goes and, dollars. But of which that's good. That's what every father should do for their son. You know, when you see your son that loves something, and even if it's music, you just have to support. There's no any other option. You have to support him because without you supporting him, then it's going to turn out to be something else, of which at the end of the day is going to hit on you and you're going to blame yourself. So now, yes, I agree with you. He's a very, very aggressive spinner. He's fearless. And as a father, sometimes I sit and watch and like, hey, what is this one doing? And I'm like, oh, wena, wena.
You know he takes after you, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So now, Magesh, you literally have your own ground, your own spin pitch. Yes. What are your future plans?
My plans with that venue is to have a spinning academy. I want to teach people how to spin. I want to host go-karts as well. Teach the youngsters because you have to teach them young. Because I believe in sharing whatever we've learned in this game. I don't think we should go down without passing whatever we've learned in this game and not groom the youngsters. Because where I'm coming from humble beginnings in the Kasi called Watema, where most of the youngsters, they don't have kusheshes.
Sure.
And as a person coming from that township, you see that it's going to take them a while. Some of them is going to take them a while because their parents, not that they don't have money, but the parents, they don't believe in the game. The son is passionate, but the parents doesn't want to be involved in or associated with the game. So now what Magesh is going to do is going to bring those youngsters on weekends to come and have the experience with our kusheshes that we're going to build for them so that we can groom and train them. We're not going to be only training the youngsters, but we're going to be running classes for even guys older like us, because we find that if maybe you, Vic, want to learn how to spin, you come to Magesh, we give you classes. But all that info we will share with you guys on Magesh's bio.
So just to give you some more in-depth, because a platform like that lends itself to further training and trade development. In other words, if you've got the ground, you've got the academy going, then you could start also broadening the classes to like basic 101 mechanics, like the basics of maintaining vehicles and stuff like that. Yes. And if you get, a little bit of encouragement by local governmental officers or, Department of Education, you could actually start running
Yes, because we're thinking of approaching the service seater because they offer those kind of classes. So like we are saying, the one-on-one mechanics, like your typical K53 startup kind of setup. Yeah, so that it's pointless to teach you how to spin, but you don't teach you how to maintain the spinning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good basis. I think you should definitely grow on that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So besides being a phenomenal spinner, even a better father, a coach, a promoter, you've also taken a role of being a judge at the Red Bull Shy Motor, which is not all fame and glory and highlighted pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that role over the last 5 years.
It has been an interesting one. For the last 5 years, me being part of Red Bull Shy Motor, it kept me on my feet when it comes to the Red Bull Shy Motor, because you get all sorts of things after that. Like, these judges must go, we're not judging, okay. But based on what? Because vis-a-vis the 20 years that I have in the game, based on what, Vic, are you saying that I'm judging unfairly? Okay, story for another day. But it has been a nice experience. I will never trade that opportunity for anything because it gives surety to the guys that are participating there, to the spinners, that they know that that guy up there, he's been there before us. So he knows what he's doing.
So that's always been an important thing for me. Like, if someone's going to judge me on any particular skill, then that person must be an expert in that skill himself.
True.
And having 4 legends that you guys have been, like, you've done it all, you learnt it all, you taught it to others. So surely you know what to look forward and how to judge accordingly. How do you deal with the amount of hate game that comes after a big event? Not necessarily Red Bull Shimoda, but an event like that.
Let me take you back to the last one that happened. That was, I think it was last year, when a particular spinner didn't win. He got cut off or eliminated in the quarterfinals. He didn't make it to the quarterfinals. And then we were called all sorts of names. The judges, all these judges, that. But you know how I've handled all the negativity throughout my spinning career? I just keep quiet. I've been hated on. I've been talked, like even last year when people are talking ill of me, I just keep quiet because I know what I'm doing and I'm content with myself. So I wasn't moved because people were phoning me, Magesh, did you see that live video? People were saying, you and Jeff, man. I'm saying, it's okay. That's his opinion vis-a-vis what we're doing. But at the end of the day, spinning won.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Spinning always wins. Like, with a platform like that, and there's other events that also launch people's career. But Red Bull platform, with the amount of people watching internationally, it's definitely a nice springboard for up-and-coming spinners to start a fruitful career.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Red Bull Shimoda 2024 because it's been a sore point for a lot of people. There's a lot of rumors and things being said, both in gossip corners as well as the internet. Tell us about your little experience with Red Bull 2024.
Yo, Vic, I don't know where to start. I saw spinning being taken back to when we started, back 20 years. This is not what we fought for. This is not the struggle that we fought for when we tried to make spinning commercialized, when we tried to make spinning recognized. And then you find that energy that we saw when we got to Cape Town. People don't know that we were threatened.
Were you threatened physically, or was just people saying like some aggressive words to you? Or?
Both.
Sure.
Both, because when we came on I think it was a Thursday, I think we must elaborate further on this. We must take our time on this because it's not right what happened there in the name of spinning. We were threatened as soon as we landed because we were told that be safe. When people greeted us, they told us, be safe. Watch your back. We didn't understand what they meant. But then when we realized that they are saying no winner from Joburg, this cup is staying here in Cape Town, then we started to take it seriously. Then it so happened one morning when we woke up, Vijaro, our judge as well, he called us. He said, you know what, Magesh and Jeff, Shaim, there was another guy here. He just came to me and told me straight that you judges must watch your back.
Why? It's pretty serious.
Yes, it was pretty serious because I've never seen that. Throughout the struggle, after our Eriton days, after our Sherwell days, after our industrial days, that has never happened up until it happened in 2024. What am I saying to my son? What am I saying to someone watching who saw what happened there? We're still going to get into that, I believe. But I'm talking about the threats that happened behind the scene that you guys didn't know that happened. We were threatened as judges. So now when we there was a moment where we decided, you know what, let's just leave this thing for our safety.
As in leave the venue or walk away from the show?
Walk away from the show for our safety because it's not on. Look, remember, we are far away from home. We've got no one who's going to stand for us. But then people were threatening us. Then it went on, and then it came alive on the final of that day.
Let's talk about the final, because obviously we can't highlight that and not talk about the final. The final was obviously between Boxy, Kaapstad representative, who's a phenomenal spinner himself, absolutely,
100%.
Blew up on the scene 3 years prior on the same platform, Red Bull Shimoto, super charismatic, great entertainer, solid, good spinner. Obviously going up against Sam, which at that stage was the reigning, defending back-to-back champion. Boxy obviously had the hometown, home crowd advantage, which is normal. It's Kaapstad. You got to root for your team, and that's cool. Boxy was crowned the winner of the round. Obviously, by today's, technology, everybody went and double-checked the live feed, slowed it down, cut it up, put everybody's other cell phones together, and there's a lot of, pushback on the result, and a lot of people are saying, Sam deserved the win. You're one of the judges that voted for Sam, I remember?
Correct.
What in your eyes, what made Sam's performance better than Boxy's for you to vote for him?
Like you said, Vic, Boxy is a very good spinner. He's a very good spinner. He was a runner-up, if I stand to be corrected, last year or the year
year
before.
I think he made it to the semis.
Yes, because last year we didn't have anything. A year prior. So he was a runner-up. So he's actually a good spinner. I take nothing away from him. But with Sam in that round, Sam had a clean round. So I judged based on what I saw happen. Okay. So if Boxy bumped and he got stuck there in the makeout corner, he was struggling to get out. Then he bumped. So me as a judge, how can I make Boxy win, whereas Sam had a clean round? What is that going to say about me as a judge going forward? Will people or will the audience have faith in me going forward? They will not, which means all the guys that we've eliminated through the qualifying, they must also win.
Yeah, it gets tricky. It's sad that it got to a point where you guys as judges were literally getting intimidated and stuff. That's really sad. It should never happen. Do you believe that those intimidation tactics played a part or messed with the judge's mind, you being a judge yourself?
Absolutely, Vic. They did. Why am I saying that? Boxy went on first. He did his round. When when he just finished his round, people started throwing the armbands, calling Boxy's name. So in their eyes, Boxy had already won. And Sam was standing there waiting to come into the pitch. But if you are matured enough, you could already see that they've already made their decision. Whatever Sam is going to do there, it won't count because they've already shown us that this is what we want. You know what? Sam not being a coward, he went on the stage, he performed, and then he had a clean round.
He had an epic round. His round, I went back and saw it myself. I thought he had an amazing round. His stunt was like through the roof, should have scored major points.
Yes,
good.
Yes. Based on the proximity as well, he had, his driving was just excellent. So, but then we then like after that, we then said to me and the other judges, now what? I then said to the judges, judge based on what you saw.
Okay.
Yeah, so that your conscience should be clear. You don't want to be robbing people here because that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. So I judged based on what I saw. Vijaro judged based on what he saw. Jeff and Shaheem, and the crowd has chosen their winner. So,
look, let's be honest. The crowd, you're always going to vote for your team at your hometown. When Man United goes and plays at their field, they got the fans. When Lakers play in LA, they always got the fans vote. So that's understandable. But there was definitely a lot of fire, a lot of pushback on who and who shouldn't have won. At the end of the day, I still like to believe that spinning does win. We got a new crown, Red Bull Moto representing Cape Town. And we got to try and take the positive elements out of this event as much as you can. You got to acknowledge where things should be improved as a platform.
Yes.
There's a lot to take back from this year's event, and a lot more things will be improved in future, especially the rule book and maybe the setup in the pits and stuff like that could be improved for future. Yeah, it was a very, very debatable.
It is, and Vic, it won't stop now, because should the Red Bull Moto 2025 come, question are going to be asked. We still want to talk about this in 2025.
Sure, look, it's definitely something to take back and learn from. You got to learn from your experiences. Life is about taking the hard knocks and learning. Because if you don't learn anything from it, then you just took the hard knock in vain. You got to learn from it and expand and move on. Magesh, do you feel that platforms like Red Bull, Moto, and the big events, you got the big events, Sepang at Mahem, Rock Raceway, Val Spin Fest, do you feel that those events are still helping to, cultivate the young talent? Or do you think it's just become, a general show? Do you still believe it pushes young, talented spinners to be better, helps them break on the scene and, start the little pathway to turning into professional money-earning athletes?
Vic, thank you. Let me answer you like this. Without your Mayhem, without the Rock, without Wheels and Smoke, without all those small, let me not say small, without all those venues, there will be no Red Bull Moto.
Absolutely.
Because those spinners, they emanate from those venues. There will be no Katra.
Well said.
Yeah. So we need those places. We need to see more of those places, actually. We need to see more of Magesh, because we believe in the sport, we're passionate about the sport, we want the sport to grow. So we must multiply.
Sorry to cut you off. In saying that, my main goal for trying to maneuver Red Bull Moto to Cape Town was to open the eyes of the people in power in Cape Town, to let them realize that this is a solid sport with massive following, and to assist the local promoters in finding their own piece of land to build a purpose-built spin pitch, because that's what I truly believe Kaapstad needs.
Absolutely, Vic, because, people of Cape Town, they're always crying that they don't have a place to call their own. The authorities are always chasing them away. So it's very, very sad, like to see like a city big like Cape Town, they don't have a place to spin, because it should have been number one on the list, but they don't have.
Magesh, thank you for being my friend for over 20 years. I've known you when I was a little skinnier and you had no muscles on your biceps. Thank you for contributing to the spin fraternity. Thank you for being a coach and a father to your son, who's the next seed in spinning greatness in your family.
No, thank you, Vic, and thank you for platforms such like this to express ourselves, to express the spinner's voice, because we are speaking for the voiceless, because we always speak in the spinning venues, but we don't have a proper platform to raise our frustrations, because you'll never know how the spinners are feeling up until you have platforms such like this. So big up to you guys. Continue doing great for the spinning community. We love you and we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
And this is how we throw it down, man. We're having conversations with legends. This is what Spin Sessions is about. It's about cultivating and promoting this culture, this movement of spinning, not just in South Africa, but now we're breaking over to the international scene. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, and most importantly, please just share this podcast with a friend.